Yes. I'm the creep outside the window from the Onion cartoon. Welcome back to the show. No, I'm Grant. That's who I am. I'm one of your hosts of Sonic Weekly, the show about Sonic the Hedgehog that comes into your inbox once every 7 days or so. We have Bo with us. We'll be checking in with him a little bit later. And here he is, out of the shadows, into the spotlight, the star of the show. It's David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Whoa, hi, Grant. Hi, Bo. From the future or the present? Look, Bo is in... He exists outside the seconds of time, right? You know how there's the time stream? Bo lives in a little house outside of the time stream. He can watch whatever he wants to watch whenever he wants to watch it. I don't know how it works. I'm afraid to ask him. I'm actually afraid of the implications of Bo being able to see anything at any time. So I won't bring it up again.
It's nice to see you too, or nice to speak with you. And very excited about our guest this week. She's a good friend of mine. We met each other doing comedy in the LA comedy scene. She has been seen on all sorts of things like Dropout and Honest Trailers, Screen Junkies, etc. and more. It's Danielle Radford. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I am not in a liminal space. I am, just in case, since it sounds like someone else might be kind of in a liminal space. We're not sure what space and time they're in.
That's right.
You're properly conjugated to the present moment.
Yes, I'm in the present.
All right. You are experiencing things one moment at a time.
As God
a linear
intended.
Fashion. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a gift.
Right.
Okay, so here's how we do the show. We're recording it a little early this week, so we're going to throw to the future so that we can do the news after the Game Awards. Are you ready to jump into the future with me, David?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready. We're going
One
to...
more thing. I'm so sorry.
Oh? Wait.
Yeah, before we get to 88 miles per hour on the DeLorean, let's go ahead and check in with the Rings of Saturn, your friend and mine, Bo. Bo, what's up?
Rings of Saturn.
This week on the Rings of Saturn, I am covering the not safe for work anime shooting game called Steam Hearts on Saturn. That's right, this is one of these adult-oriented Saturn games. There are a few. It's got lots of scenes with scantily clad women. It's toned down quite a bit from the original PCX version, but definitely not one for the kids. I took a purely academic look at this game, and I found that it's got a batch of hidden cheat codes, and they're everything you could want. There's one for level select, one for disabling enemies, one for upgrading weapons, and they're really easy to enter, too. And I guess people were just really distracted by the nudity, and they didn't try holding down buttons at the title screen. In other 32-bit news, the owner of PlayStationLibrary.com asked me to look at the video game adaptation of the Weakest Link TV show, you know, the one with the quiz questions and you are the weakest link and so on. There's a really handy cheat code for this game that went unnoticed until now. You can get the game to show you the correct answer for each question. They pop up, there's the multiple choice. The right one has a little asterisk by it. And with this, you can really stick it to that stern host woman who really is rooting for you to fail, I think. The Weakest Link was made by Traveler's Tales, the studio who is most famous among Sonic fans for Sonic 3D Blast and Sonic R. But who knows, they did other stuff too. This has been your Rings of Saturn update, and now back to David and Grant for more Sonic Weekly.
That sounds great, Bo. Now let's check in with our friend Barry at Sega Bits. What are they talking about on Sega Bits this week? Barry?
Hey, Sonic Weekly listeners. Barry from Sega Bits here to tell you what's going on at Sega Talk Podcast. On episode 175, we go back to 1998 to take a look at what Sega was up to between the Saturn and the Dreamcast, and what strange and unique arcade games they were releasing that we never got to play on home console. Releasing next week is our final episode of the year, in which we take a look at Tanglewood for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. What made this modern-day indie title such a hit? Watch or listen today at SegaBits.com, youtube.com/Segabits, or search Segabits on your podcatcher of choice. Now let's return to Sonic Weekly, already in progress.
Okay, Danielle, we'll be right back. We're going to jump to the future and then we're going to come right back.
Okay, let me know how bad it is.
Okay, it's going to be 2 days in the future. Ready, David?
Yes.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's find out how bad it is.
Here we go. Whoa, David, hello again.
Whoa! Hey, Grant, that's right. We are reporting from the future. Well, I guess it's the past or the present. Well, right. So
right now it's right after the Game Awards, and we are fresh from the red carpet, and we are here to announce that Sonic Racing Cross Worlds leaves empty-handed. There was the Sonic sweep of 0 wins. There is a new Spotify remix of Marble Zone by an artist named Labyrinth. That was a little Sonic cameo. But the big Sega news, David, the big hyped Sega news, the one that we were all getting ourselves all excited about, the entire fandom of Sega and Sonic.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
What did they have to show?
Well, right, because we thought, are we going to see more Jet Set Radio? Are we going to see more Crazy Taxi? Are we going to see maybe the new Super Game since the old Super Game got canceled? What are we going to see, and who rolled out? It was David Harbour, right? He strolled off up on stage. He's like, remember me from Stranger Things? Please don't listen to my ex-wife's latest album. And what's going on? He was really
making a meal of it, too. He was like every word. He was like pronouncing every syllable with like 3 extra syllables. He was making a big deal out of this announcement.
Yes. And what was announced? Well, there's a new installment in the Total War series. That's right, Total War from Creative Assembly, which is owned by Sega, so it's technically Sega. And what is it? It's Total War in Warhammer 40K. Look at that. That's what it is. And it's like, okay, sure.
Yeah. The most exciting thing was like pointing like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme when the tiny Sega logo appeared in the final screen of it, like next to Creative Assembly. It's like, oh, Sega, there they are.
There they are. There's the Sega logo. It's like,
yeah, squint.
Right, because even though Total War, I know, Creative Assembly is part of Sega. There's a lot of Total War games. They make money, but that's not Sega to me. That's not.
Yeah. No, that's not the Sega that we get excited about. It's a franchise that has its fans, but I'm not one of them.
Right. Like back in the day, let's say you were a big Disney fan in the 90s, but if you saw something that was a Touchstone Pictures, you weren't like, oh yeah, that's the next big Disney movie.
Or like a Miramax movie. It's like, technically that's Disney, but
that's not.
It's really its own thing. Yeah, it's a different thing. So I will tell you that there was one Game Awards announcement that did get me kind of excited. It was also a big build-up. And then they had like an orchestra playing, and we see like a CG walk through some tunnels. And it's like, well, that could be anything. Is this maybe a new Fallout or something? But then some memorable notes come in, and you're like, holy, is that? It couldn't be. And it is Mega Man 12. Not called Mega Man 12, but Mega Man is back, baby. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. But Mega Man Dual Override is coming in 2027.
7. That's right.
Hey, but still on the PlayStation 4 and the Switch 1. Can you believe it?
It's it's a little strange. I mean, I'm definitely excited. Mega Man is one of those game series where it's like, him and Sonic feels like they've coexisted. They live together. They're both blue. They shook their hands in the 90s once. They've been in Smash. They feel like they crossed over in comics. I guess that's the big one. Look, so it's always exciting, but it always feels like that Mega Man is dead. Like you get a new game and then it's dead, and it just stays dead. So whenever some life is breathed back into it, you go, oh, is this it? Is Mega Man now back for good? I don't know if he's back for good, but it looks good. Like, it looks fun.
It looks exactly like Mega Man 11, which makes it makes me wonder why it needs to be 2027. And Dual Override, I mean, that could mean a lot of different things, but it could also be, it could have been the name that they use for the mechanics in 11, which were sort of overriding things with time stopping, and you had 2 powers. So it could have been Dual Override instead of Mega Man 11.
Right.
But maybe it means like Mega Man X is going to come into this game, or maybe it means it's a co-op game with Proto Man, or who knows what Dual Override means. At this point, we know nothing other than it's Mega Man, it's 2D, it looks like the previous one, but it's not coming out for a whole
long time.
Extra year. You got 13 months at least.
Yeah, it's a little strange that they felt the urge to announce Mega Man so early.
Yeah.
Does that mean Capcom has a lot of faith in this particular Mega Man game? Are they going like, we think Mega Man's back? Which would imply that maybe it's more than just 11 again? I don't know.
It is baffling. It's a very early announcement. And I gotta say, I kind of, against my better judgment, was hoping that that's something we were going to see from Sonic tonight, that we were going to get like the smallest, most annoying trailer, Sonic's shoe hitting the ground, and then 2027. I was kind of expecting that. The Frontiers 2 announcement to be like just a blip and a year, but we didn't even get that, which makes me wonder if Frontiers 2 is maybe even further away than 2027. But
that would be...
that'd be a long time.
Right. I'm trying to remember... Right, because the original Frontiers was teased pretty far in advance.
I want to say 21, because it came out in 23. No. It came out in 22.
Oh, yeah.
Then the DLC was 23.
Right, there was a lot.
Last year, and that was Shadow. Yeah.
Right. It came out in 2022, and man, right, the marketing. When was it first?
Was that 2020 then?
Sega unveiled a teaser trailer at the end of its 30th anniversary live stream on May 27th, 2021. So, and then it was announced properly at the Game Awards, where they gave it the name. So they announced it a year ahead of time. So, I guess it is still possible that we may get then Frontiers 2 or whatever it's called in 2027 if they stick to that sort of advertising.
We can safely write off 2026, though, I think. If there was a 2026 game, we would have heard about it tonight, I think.
That seems like the safe bet, yeah. If we were going to get a 35th anniversary title, especially if it was going to come out at any time around the actual 35th date, which would be in June, we'd hear about it by now. Sega doesn't hold back Sonic that long. You know, it might just be a tease. It might just be a single screen. It'll be like, hey, you got to wait 8 months before we tell you anything more.
I have a question for you, David.
Yes.
My question for you is, how did you enjoy our chat with Danielle Radford? Was it fun?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was fun. It was snappy. A rock and rolling, a rockabilly good time.
Okay.
I don't, right. Which I guess the listeners haven't heard yet. You know, I get if we had any other news, and it feels like the only other news is
that Sega Gaga is coming soon. It's not even. It's just that maybe soon. We don't know exactly what that means, but the fan translation is coming soon. They said on the Dreamcast forums. But to your point, the weekend halftime of the Super Bowl, Grammy winning, big pop artist. The Weeknd, was posting about Sonic, and people were like, oh, maybe this is going to be a Game Awards thing. Maybe The Weeknd is doing music for the next big Sonic game or the Sonic movie or something. And that may be, but we didn't learn any more at the Game Awards.
No, we didn't learn a thing. So maybe he just really wanted to post some pictures of Michael Jackson and Sonic the Hedgehog.
I get it.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Sonic X Shadow Generations did win the Legendary Sound Award at the 2025 PlayStation Game Music Awards.
We'll take it.
All right. Yeah. See, it still won an award, but other than that, we got squat. But yeah,
But thankfully, we have a good episode ahead of you. You're going to enjoy our conversation with Danielle Radford. Should we go back to the past?
Oh, I think we should. We're gonna jump into our DeLorean. We're gonna drive into a TARDIS.
And yeah, and we're gonna click our heels together, and somehow we're gonna warp back to the present that you're experiencing, but for us, already happened. This is the world premiere of our conversation with Danielle Radford. Wow, that was fun. What a crazy bunch of reveals that happened then. And what a fun time we had talking about it. Thanks for waiting, Danielle. I hope we didn't keep you too long.
No, much like with any kind of space-time multiversal move around thing, only a second elapsed for me.
Really? It was like, I'm going to say 15 minutes for us.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I want to say maybe like a second, maybe half a second. So everybody's still here? Still got a country and stuff?
Yeah, I would say 98% of everything is still there. So don't worry. It's
or
that
do
remaining 2% though.
That remaining
is 2%. We don't want to get into exactly what we lost, but you'll see.
Okay.
Right. You've seen The Leftovers, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like that. Don't worry. It's good. It's a good time.
Are there still Sonic rings in the future? Give me something.
Oh yeah. In fact, Sonic and Sonic have finally merged together. That's what happened at the Game Awards. We found out that the Sonic Drive-In has officially bought Sega. It's not the other way around.
Oh, see, I was just picturing like you're in the green zone about to start and one of your character options is just a Sonic Drive-In, as in the building. And so you're just like going through loops and like, freeing critters as a Sonic Drive-In building.
Right.
This is brilliant. Sega, hire this woman. Please do it immediately because it needs to happen.
And Danielle, I need money.
You have a impressive resume. And when I was looking through your IMDb, I was like, oh, well, of course I knew you were writing for Honest Trailers. And I didn't realize that you've also done commentary on your Honest Trailers, including for your Sonic the Hedgehog episodes.
Yes. Yeah. So back in the day when I was working on the Honest Trailers, and they still happen without me, which sounds crazy, but apparently you can do things without me. I had no idea. Maybe I do live in a liminal space. But so we would do every Tuesday when the trailer would come out, we would do like a live commentary. So we would sit in a panel and we would talk about the movies that we watched. And did you watch either of the commentaries I did? Because if so, I'm going to be treading a lot of ground on this episode that you've already been privy to.
Well, I've been privy to it, but I don't know that our audience has. So you're totally welcome to.
Like, I watched the second one. I didn't realize there was a first one. So, I mean, the commentary. I've seen both of the trailers. I didn't realize that you had like a little round table for the first one as well as the second.
I think that we did. I know that there's been some weeks that we haven't done it, but it's mostly been like logistic stuff. And I'm trying to remember when that first one came out and if that was back when we were all still like in the Brady Bunch boxes before we got back into the studio. But yeah, so we talked about Sonic 2, or as I think of it in my brain, half of a really good Sonic movie and half of probably the best Tyler Perry movie.
Yes.
Probably.
You made that point on that, and I laughed a lot then. So how do you feel about the Sonic 2 romance subplot, I guess? The wedding scene.
Oh, well, so, for starters, I already loved Sonic. Like I was a huge, I loved Nintendo until Sega came out and I could see blood on my Mortal Kombat. And then I was like, you're my homie now forever. And then I still love both of them. But I used to work as like the assistant manager of selling video games in Seattle, working for EB Games back when that was still a place before most of them got bought up by GameStop. I had like a Dreamcast at one point. I'm like I'm a Sega girly. And so obviously the fact that these movies are like set in the Seattle area was already such a huge thing for me. Like I was already super stoked about those. And then you see the first one and I'm like, this is like blacker than I guess I expected the Sonic movie to be. And then I went, well, but it should be because Sonic's black. It's Sonic is on the list of characters who are black. He was voiced by Jaleel White. Don't fight me in the comments, just accept it. Very happy for, I'm going to do that thing where I call it an actor by his character's name, like a douche. Very happy for Don Ralphio, who I do think did a fantastic job.
Yes, Ben Schwartz, amazing.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz, thank you. Great work. But I do also, I grew up with Jaleel White talking about them fucking chili dogs. Oh, can I cuss? Because I just did. I will calm that down.
Yeah,
okay,
please.
Sweet. Please do. But so So the first one, I was like, oh, this is like super cute. They got a little swirl action. That's great. And then the second one, it starts obviously, that's I think all of the leads in this, usually I'm very weary about when a movie franchise that is based on any kind of like element that is outside of the world feels the need to involve a human character. I didn't need like a human dude to like know who the Smurfs was, for example. They have their own thing going on. You don't need, what was it, NPH? Like, you're good. So I was a little hesitant about that, but I do feel like in the Sonic movies, I was pleasantly surprised by how kind of well they wove the human stuff in. And then in part two, it was like, I mean, it was part of the plot, but you could definitely tell that someone got really excited about the fact that they got Natasha Rothwell and was like, she's a genius, she's brilliant. We need to be giving her more to do. My guess is that like they got her before she really like everyone knew how big she was going to get on Insecure, and you know, and then I don't know which one of those a bunch of people go on vacation and someone dies shows is she on? White Lotus.
White Lotus, yeah.
There's like 5 of them now. It's just an excuse to get actors to Bali, I guess. So, you know, they didn't realize how big she was going to be. So they give her this huge part in the movie that does tie back to Sonic. So you get there, she's in love with Shamar Moore. And that right there is like your first sign that things are about to get very interesting. Especially, again, if you are someone who is familiar with the Tyler Perry au revoir, or if you're like me and your grandmom just really liked Young and the Restless. You're very familiar with some Shamar Moore shenanigans. Shenanigans, right. I guess.
Shenanigans, sure. I think I was on the other side of it. I don't know that I knew Shamar Moore. And then after watching Sonic 2, I suddenly see him everywhere. Like he's in commercials, he's in other films.
Right. No, the moment you said Young and the Restless, I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand. Because my mother was also very into Young and the Restless, Bold and the Beautiful, that whole
that CBS block.
Yes, that's what she would watch. And so, you know, during the summer, or if I was sick, I remember I became a bit too invested in the plot of both of those shows as a child. Like, you shouldn't, but you do, and you're like, because initially you're like, oh man, I just want to see The Price is Right, but then soon you're like, oh wait, like I really, of course, off the top of my head, I can't think of a single plot point from either of those shows. But
well, all you really have to remember about Young and the Restless is there's always some shit going on with Victor and Nikki, and that Shamar Moore had AIDS, I think. And so like those are like the most important things for you to remember that there's always something going on with Victor and Nikki. Shamar Moore had AIDS. Because he'd gotten it from a girl that he was with, or no. His brother was cheating on a girl he was in love with who had AIDS, and then the brother got, I believe, AIDS, and then I think Shamar also got AIDS. I don't know. It was a big AIDS thing. They were trying to teach us a lesson through the power of hot light skinned men. So Shamar Moore was huge on Young and the Restless, because Young and the Restless was like big business back then, and had started to cross over into other things. One of which I know people are yelling at me for not having mentioned yet was that he was the host of like Soul Train for a minute. Grant. Grant.
Buddy.
I
know Soul Train, but I didn't know he was the host of. I didn't know that,
So they kind of did, I want to say, I don't remember if it was like the late 90s or 2000s, but they definitely turned Soul Train into more of an MTV beach house feeling, not in the beach house, but just as far as, you know, it's obviously not Don Cornelius. It's like this young, hot dude. And so he is dancing in, I mean, what I can only describe as the most beige way possible through many segments throughout there. It's many popular GIFs. And then also he's known for doing, I think, God, still all the CBS shows, like the I don't remember if it was NCIS or CSI or one of the letter shows. I know he's been on a few of the letter shows and he's done really well on those. And then in the Tyler Perry movies, he's known for A, being in them, and B, wearing the worst wig you've ever seen. It's a cornrow wig. I don't know whose idea that is. Could have just did cornrows. He is a black man. So you could have just grown his hair out, but they gave him the worst lace front in history. So when he shows up, you're like, ah, hell, what's about to happen? And then it does become like the biggest Tyler Perry plot of all time. I'll just say what the plot is I assume anyone here knows, but just a quick recap. So Natasha Rothwell's character, who is the sister-in-law of Sonic's adopted mom, is, that's a hell of a sentence.
Slight correction, she's the sister.
Oh, the sister, sorry. And the sister-in-law of his adopted dad. I apologize.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Still, what a sentence. So, who is a cop, we ignore it. It's fine. So she's about to get married. We meet the guy. He's like a fireman, and Sonic's daddy is a cop, and there's like this weird competition between them. And it's a little sexy, but like whatever, it's fine. And it wouldn't be the first for the Sonic franchise. And so some of you know of the horrors of which I speak. So they go and get married, and the day of the wedding, she finds out that it was a sting operation to catch Sonic. Like the day of the whole wedding, like the day of her Hawaii wedding. And my first thought was, oh, they were like, oh, you're already in Hawaii for White Lotus. We'll just go ahead and film this scene. Was it a 2-for-1? Like, I'm trying to figure out if it's the same parent company or not, or like the same production studio. So they find out it's a sing because you got to catch Sonic. And him and all of his hot fireman friends are actually part of like, it's like the FBI. I'm doing this all at the dome, which is sad.
Incredible. No, it's great. And it's, they're part of Gun. It's a very funny moment. Even the priest opens his Bible to reveal that he's got a gun. They're part of an organization called Gun.
Yes.
and his name is Randall, but they also call him Agent Handle. And then they confirm in movie 3 that his name is in fact Randall Handle.
Amazing.
Which is incredible. Yes. And we on the show and our full Team Sonic Weekly team, we all really like movie 2, and we like the extended wedding scene. And yeah, the human elements of it were really fun. But there were some Sonic fans who were definitely like vocally like, this isn't Sonic. Why are we spending 10 minutes on this weird subplot when Sonic is just knocked out in the background?
And here's the thing, this is a situation, one of the rare situations where everyone gets to be right. Everyone gets to be right, because it doesn't make sense for this to be part of Sonic. It is fun and goofy and silly, but as far as like things, I can only assume they had to give her more money. So they were like, we got to give you more screen time if we're going to give you more money. And she's amazing. At one point, she's dual wielding. The wedding is like flying apart. There's like guns everywhere. Like she, sucks it up to like protect Sonic. And so here's the part, and that's the part where it becomes a Tyler Perry movie, because the thing that Tyler Perry movies do a lot of is the like, woman meets a man and then he betrays her in some way, and it causes her to lose her fucking mind. And that's exactly what happened here. Take the Sonic part out of it, which, as you have said, many, many people have noted you can do quite easily for a movie that is called Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Take Sonic completely out of it. It is a movie about a woman who finds out at the altar with a man that she is in love with. They go to Hawaii. All of their family is there. That he has been using her the whole time in order to catch a criminal member of her family. Remember, they adopted this. I don't know. Adopt, it's not like legal. It's the way that you like find a stray and they're like yours now, except Sonic's a person with human feelings and weird teeth. So they he has betrayed you in order to catch the criminal element in your family. And in order to protect her family, now her wedding has become a shootout. And there's a great slow motion scene of her again with like guns. I don't remember if they're real guns or laser guns. In like a wedding dress, like the wind blowing behind her. It's wonderful. And if that doesn't look like Diary of a Mad Black Woman, like I don't know what does. And so again, it's one of those moments. I like things that are like silly and campy and bad, but aren't like necessarily trying to go for that audience. I just is what it is. And I wouldn't necessarily call this bad. I would call it camp, but I would say that like, I love Sonic, but I'm okay with that happening in a Sonic movie. But if in the middle of Mortal Kombat, it suddenly became that, I would lose my fucking mind. They added some new like intro character in a Mortal Kombat, and I was like, who the fuck? We know what Mortal Kombat, and then they added like this thing where it's like, oh, you've got like this magical like I can't even remember the name of it because it's so dumb and I hate it. You've got this magical power inside you that does things. You know what Mortal Kombat needed that it was missing? More lore. That's what it was missing. And you needed more lore in Mortal Kombat, and so that's what they decided to add to the new ones. I'm getting hot. I gotta take my wig off. I'm sweating through my wig. I'm so heated. And so when I think of that, I think of those moments where I'm like, I'm okay with that 10-minute sequence, but I understand why you would be mad because I'm still cranky. I had to learn a new Mortal Kombat character when there are 50 they could have used.
That's very, very fair. I think that's a very fair and accurate assessment of a movie too. So thanks for sharing some of your honest trailers behind the scenes thoughts on it too, because
I did warn you before we started. They were like, no Sonic manifestos, and I think we'll be fine as a joke for a conversation out of context. And I was like, I can't promise. No. I can't promise that. And then I did have a Sonic manifesto in me, it turned out.
Right. Well, if you are a fan of Sonic in any way and you don't have at least one Sonic manifesto hiding in you, there's some. I don't think you can call yourself a fan of Sonic.
Inside everyone are 2 Sonic manifestos.
That's right. So we found one.
Yeah.
Will we get to the other before the end of the episode?
Well, let's dial it back, because you mentioned. So we started with the movies, but you mentioned being a Sega fan early on. You had a Dreamcast, and I do know you play Nintendo Switch. We're Nintendo Switch friends. But yeah, let's talk about the Dreamcast, or maybe let's dial it even further back. Do you remember? Was it the cartoons? Was it the games? How did you first get introduced to Sonic the Hedgehog for you?
It was the games. So I had a Game Gear, not to brag, but I had a Game Gear. And so when my family finally, when we became like a Sega household, which I think you have to like declare on like your taxes or something now. But when we became a Sega household, I didn't get initially. I think that I think like back then you would still get a free game and not just a bunch of tester games. But I was, again, I cannot stress this enough, heavily into the Mortal Kombat because there was blood and women killing men with their thighs. So I was busy doing that. And, but I got, cause I'm a huge fan of mobile gaming. Like I love, all gaming is fun, but there's just something about having like a system that's in your hands. I'm like saving up for a Steam Deck right now. I loved playing the Sega Game Gear. 6 double D batteries that lasted 2 hours, baby. Give it to me on a road trip.
Take that, environment.
Yes, suck it. I got to play Sonic on the way from Indiana to Washington. So, I did. Like, yeah.
That's a drive. What?
It was such a drive. We were going from military base to military base. It's fun. So we started. So I was like playing it there, and that was the first time I played it. And the first thing I thought was like the Game Gear is such a giant leap from the Game Boy, which I love both of them. They're both my sons. I won't choose, but
it was. I mean, it just objectively was like it was in color. It had racing games, Sonic Drift 2. It could go faster. It was way cooler. I was a Game Gear guy. Yeah.
It was faster. Like it looked faster. It looked better. It didn't look honestly like with the TVs we had back then. It didn't look that different from playing it then.
And you could get a TV tuner and plug it in. I don't know anyone who ever had it, but the fact you could turn it into a real TV. You can't do that with the Game Boy.
You couldn't do that with the Game Boy. I mean, the things that Sega the many ways in which Sega was ahead of their time and punished for it, I could talk about for literally days. I had Sega Channel.
Oh my.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We had it on our military base, I guess, for free because the troops. So I got to play.
Know. Wow. See, now I'm like, oh, if I knew somebody who was in the military as a kid, I could have gotten free Sega Channel.
Yeah, free Sega Channel.
Like a mythical thing.
Free Sega Channel and all of the yellow ribbons one could ever need during that time. But yeah, we had the Sega Channel in Hawaii. Wow, full circle. So I was playing, like, using that and absolutely having no idea how you could possibly play over the cable box. What? That's insane.
I still don't understand it.
Right.
It's tubes. It's a series of tubes from what I've been told. So, yeah. So it was, a thing that I was playing. And then after I really started getting into Game Gear was when I was like, okay, I'm going to play the regular Sonic now. And I played the first Sonic and it was super fun. And then, I don't know why I skipped like Sonic and Tails, because I think that was the one I had first, but I wanted to start from the beginning because, again, I didn't want to miss the story. So I started on the first one, then I got into the second one, and that's when I was like, I will only play Tails from now on. And that's kind of like my MO with any of those characters anyway, because when I was when I used to play Nintendo, when I would play like the Super Mario Brothers, I would always start a 2-player game and then kill Mario immediately so I could just play through all the worlds as Luigi. I've been a Luigi girl from way back. Some of you just started. Welcome. But yeah, so I got really into Tails. I loved playing as Tails. I don't know if it was like the 2 Tails and like the helicopter and the flying or whatever, but he was just so adorable and so cute. The pinball game and levels were like some of my favorites. I've just always like, Sega real big for me. And again, I really cannot stress enough how they have always been so innovative and always so incredibly punished for it. And like, that's the thing is like people complain about Nintendo. Well, they'll say, well, it doesn't look like it doesn't look, like an Xbox or, whatever edition Xbox you're at, it doesn't look like whatever. That's because Nintendo has made it very clear that they would rather spend more money and take risks with innovation than with like making like boobs bounce like more or less realistically. That's always been more of their deal. Just whereas Sega was like, Porque no los dos. Like, why can't we have both? Why can't we have the jiggle and have innovation? And you will pay a smooth $500 for it in 1995 money. What do you mean the company is out of business?
Okay, so I totally get being into Luigi and Tails just as their own characters. Because they're great characters. But do you have older siblings? Was that why, or were you just sort of? Because usually it's like the younger sibling is Luigi or Tails. Was that the case for you, or you just liked those characters?
I just like those characters, but I did have I had an older sister. She's not dead. I have an older sister, and she was like my first versions of Let's Plays. I would watch her play through Mario and play through all that. It was when we started to diverge was really when I started really getting into fighting games. Because that was, because I would just sit there and practice for hours and hours and hours. And I would imagine how that wouldn't be super fun when you start to get to that kind of competitive. Plus also she was older than me and cool and had a car. So like by that point, she was fine.
Did you ever play Tails to her Sonic? Did you ever play 2-player together?
No, not with those. No, it would usually be like me watching her, which again, like I love to watch my sister play. But the Sega, while the Nintendos and the Super Nintendo were both of ours, the Sega was pretty explicitly just mine, which is like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, damn, what a brat. But also,
that's
again, Bree, I think she was just growner. Yeah.
The Sega was mine. The Game Boy was his. The Game Gear was mine. The NES was his, the GameCube was his, but the Dreamcast was mine. Like we sort of traded off who, like we both used it, but there was like one particular like person who had it more somehow. Or like,
yeah.
you also then were a household that had both a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis, which feels like an incredibly rare thing in general back then. Like,
yeah, again with the lived on a military base. So when you live on base, they have like stores. There are on base equivalents of Costco, kind of, like Target, sort of, like 7-Eleven a little bit. There are on base versions of that, and not only do you not pay taxes, you also typically pay, I want to say, like 10 to 15% off of manufacturer's suggested retail.
Oh wow!
And they're like operated by the military, which they might not be soon. That's one of the things that like this administration is trying to privatize them, which y'all are doing a lot of military stuff for wanting to get rid of all the stuff that makes people want to join the military, because most people don't actually like it or enjoy that they have to be. Very few people are joining the military because it's fun or because they agree with the policies. So if you start getting rid of the stuff like being able to buy your kids both a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis and have the Sega channel for free, you're going to start to see like a dip in fucking enrollment, but whatever. I have tons of very complicated feelings about being a military brat. The Sega channel isn't one of them. So, but yeah, so we were able to have both, which was incredible and super dope. So Grant, in your family, does that mean that your brother just didn't get to play Shenmue, or?
He watched me play Shenmue. So we did that along together, I would say. And then we kind of
he knows where to find some sailors.
He does. And I would say we diverged more along when it was like GameCube. So like a couple years ahead, because the Dreamcast, of course, didn't last all that long. It was like 1999 to 2001. Mm-hmm. So for me, that was like middle school into early high school. So we were still playing together by that point. But then it was like later high school where it was like GameCube, and like I think I was still just playing Dreamcast. I was like kind of going over to a friend's house to play PS2, but I was like a little bit of, basically for me, the story is like once Sega and the Dreamcast died, my interest in video games plummeted for kind of a long time. And then it didn't come back until, I guess, closer to like 10 years ago now. It sort of came back. But
yeah, I think it like, for a lot of us, and I mean, I was like a PlayStation girly, but I do think that there was like a generation of kids that had a dip until until they started making those deals for Sonic to start showing up on other platforms.
Yeah.
I do think you can kind of do that as like and like the Virtua Fighters and like all of I'm trying to remember, it wasn't 2K. What was was it 2K, the Sega Sports Series?
Yeah, it was 2K.
Yeah.
It was 2K. Like before, it has become what it became. And Virtua Fighter and like all of those, I think once those started being able to be played on other things, because like you cannot deny that their original games, self-published, were amazing.
A lot of people got into Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube.
It happened pretty quick after, I guess, because Sega was scrambling. They're like, we know we're dying. We have to pivot immediately. Because I know personally, I was a Sega kid through and through. Like the moment I got the Genesis, I didn't want anything else. Got a Saturn, got a Dreamcast till the bitter end. I did buy a GameCube because there was the promise of Sonic Team, of Sonic Game Sonic. I'm like, I guess I'll go to the other side. Of course, then rediscovered Mario, and it was like, oh yeah, I forgot Mario's good.
Yeah.
And
we were
Zelda's
kind of
good.
like that Danielle's house where we had went NES, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo GameCube. So we went back and forth.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of held both Mario and Sonic in not quite equal stature of love, but pretty close. I think they both deserve to be at the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I don't think that either one of them should be like put on an ice floe. They're both very great. But
here's an important question: is there someone in the Sonic or Mario cast that you think doesn't belong in the Olympic Games, that you think like forced their way in by cheating, performance enhancement drugs, perhaps? I don't know.
I don't like any of the new Koopa kids. I don't like any of the Koopa kids past like the ones that were on the Super Show, I guess would be around then.
So
like the ones around like Mario
Jr.
3. Bowser Jr. He had 8 beautiful children. What happened to them? Where your kids at, Bowser? I have a lot of questions that require answers.
I have gone down this rabbit hole because I was also angry about the Koopa kids. I was like, well, what happened to them? Where is Roy? Where is Wendy?
Lindsay played a musical instrument.
He did.
Yeah, and they're named after musicians. Some of them or most of them, and but I guess they're not actually his children. They're just some kids he knows.
That's what he claims now.
Okay, yeah. Uncle Bowser. Okay. Look, we've all had a secret family, okay? I know what it looks like when suddenly I have cousins who look just like my dad. Shut up.
But only one gets to be Bowser Jr. He's
only the one.
Yeah.
The ninth
That's
kid.
rough. Justice for the other Koopa bastards.
Right. Right.
Tell me about
Maybe,
it.
well, I guess it could have been the other way. Because, George Foreman, didn't he famously name all of his sons George Foreman as well? Like, it's just this.
That's true. I think when you do it to all of your kids, it's cute. I think if he had one kid named George Jr. and then one more kid named George Jr. and then no kids named George Jr., that's messed up. And that does happen. That 100% does happen.
Oh.
Yeah, that tracks. What about on the Sonic side? If you this goes for David and myself as well. Like, let's say you have to cut one Sonic character. Who would you let go?
From the Olympic Games or just in general?
I guess kind of in general. Who's not coming back? And for me, that's Vector the Crocodile. I'm sorry, Vector, but
oh wow, you'd kick out Vector before you kick out Charmy, like in general.
Well, I guess I said it, so I guess I'm sticking
you
to
did
it.
say it, even though Vector the Crocodile was designed by the same man who designed Sonic the Hedgehog, meaning he shares primordial DNA.
Yeah, Vector goes all the way back, but he's developed in a strange way, and I think he's fine. It's a loaded question. I don't want to cut anybody from the Sonic cast. They're all beautiful little creatures. I love all of them. That said, Vector, if he forgets to come next time, I won't ask.
I have a very controversial pick.
Oh
yes.
That's what we're here for.
I don't know if we needed Shadow.
What? Oh.
Whoa! There's a lot of Sonic fans who would agree with you. A lot of Sonic fans would say Shadow should have stayed dead. Why did he come back? I love Shadow. I like Shadow around. I think he's good in limited doses. But do you think like the evil twin is too much, or like what about Shadow?
Yeah, I'm always I just don't know. Sonic is already like such a 90s, like I love it. This is me saying this with all of the love in my heart. Such a 90s, like I eat chili dogs, pizza's cool, skateboard dude. Like, he's such a Bart Simpson of a character. So then to, I guess, go, the kids are getting older. What do they want? They want edgy. We already had edgy because he was like a cool skateboard kid who was also black. Again, that is canonical.
Real white. True.
So what do we do? Oh, well, we make him like dark and mysterious and like goth, And for me, that just doesn't hit the same way that like, I don't know. Cause there are some times where you can kind of invert a character, and you can invert a character and have that, like an Akuma in Street Fighter.
Yeah,
I think that works, but I also think that works because it's not like explicitly one of the dudes. He's just also like a sprite that they could reuse.
I think I know what you're saying. Because it's like Wario is a perfect parody of Mario. He's like Mario, but gross and evil. But Shadow is Sonic, but if Sonic was even cooler. And it's like, how can you be cooler than the coolest?
He's Sonic's Poochie. And it kind of, it's fine. And it's okay. Like, I don't hate him. I just think if one of them had to go, I think he has served his purpose and he is redundant. And also his death was like, I don't know. I don't think you needed to backtrack on that. I think that was like a satisfying thing.
Right.
I love it. I like it. It is a little controversial, but I think it's also worthwhile. What would you say, David?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I totally understand where you're coming from, and there were times when I've definitely been like, yeah, Shadow should have stayed dead. But I guess, rewinding back, doing the honest trailers, you wrote on the first and second, but not the third. So have you seen the third movie, and how do you feel about Shadow, like in the context of the film universe? Do you think he would fit in a oh God, I was about to, in a Tyler Perry movie? I had a moment where it's like, is that his name? It is Tyler. I was like, because I was going to say Medea. I was going to say Medea, but I'm like, he does more than that. And that's also not the movie.
We don't have to, sometimes you might be like, that's Alex Cross eraser. Erase Alex Cross. We're fine.
Yeah.
We're totally good. We're totally fine. I liked Shadow and Sonic 3. What did y'all think about Sonic 3? I don't have like big opinions about it. Like I watched it, but I didn't have to like fine tooth comb it the way that one does when you're writing an honest trailer. So what did y'all think?
I mean, personally, I enjoyed Sonic 3 quite a bit.
I love all of them. They're all perfect cinema to me. They're all A+++. Wouldn't change a thing. It's Sonic on the big screen, and they got real actors to do it, and like Jim Carrey's in it, and it's just it's so fun.
Real actors to do it. You really can't like stress that enough.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's like Ben Schwartz is a great Sonic. Idris Elba, when they cast him as Knuckles, it was like, oh shit, they got like a real actor to do Knuckles. Obviously, Jim Carrey, as mentioned, and then with Shadow, they get Keanu Reeves, and you're like, whoa, they're really like putting, the money behind this, or they're putting this is a real.
Yeah,
thing.
thank you, thank you, David, for picking that up.
Yes. Wait, what did I say?
Well, you went whoa, but you didn't go whoa.
Whoa. Yeah,
appreciate you. There it
You're
is.
Right. Yes,
you're right. There it is. They because it's not something like, and I'm not trying to slander this movie because I actually think it's great. Dead or Alive was a great movie.
The Dead or Alive, the one based on the
Dreamcast game?
fighting game?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow, you really are a fighting fan. Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
that was the jiggle physics of the day for sure.
It really was.
Dead or Alive 2 was big on the Dreamcast in many ways.
Oh yeah. No, I played beach volleyball. I'm not proud. I got the swimsuit, the one. But the movie was actually genuinely, legitimately fun. But it didn't, it had a bunch of people who would do the Dead or Alive movie, many of which were like great actors, not taking anything away. I think like Jamie Priestley is in that, and she's amazing. Like it's really fun. But this has got people who've been nominated for things in the Sonic. They have nominees.
Yeah.
Right. They have the pedigree. Right. I've never.
And it's not just like old stars too. Like, I mean, we started talking about Natasha Rothwell. It's like breakout stars too that are getting some of their early big breakout roles in the Sonic movies.
Like as that's happening, like parallel, it's amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that's why maybe she wasn't really in the third one? She's in
too busy.
Maybe she is too busy now.
She's in there for a memorable amount, but it is more of a cameo in the third.
Yeah,
one.
And technically, it's not even her. It's
right. It's a mask of her face.
Right. So
yeah, I think that. I mean, along with also, again, like still doing like the White Lotus, because I think she's been in every season except maybe one. She also now has her own show, which I think, so she was probably working on that. And then just like a lot of other stuff. She's incredibly talented and super funny. And, like she was definitely like having a moment of people recognizing how good she is in things, which is dope. But that also means that like they're not going to pay her what she's worth for her to be there like long. Also, honestly, one thing I think all of us recognize and know is that if there is one thing that the makers of the Sonic movie pay attention to, it is fan feedback. So if fans were like, hey, why did we have 10 minutes of black wedding drama? They're probably going to go, maybe let's cut that down a little bit in the next one. Because again, like one thing we know absolutely positively for certain about the dudes that make the Sonic movies, if, Sonic, no, I won't use that name. If Sonic Lover 997 on Twitter is like, what the fuck is this? They have a meeting on Monday.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, they made the changes.
See, my complaint is that they spent only 10 minutes on the wedding drama. I think they could have been at least 45 minutes.
There's a lot of
because it's surprisingly like one of the best things in that movie. Like, I love Sonic, and the fact Tails is there, Knuckles there, and you see the Master Emerald, and there's a Labyrinth Zone in the Drowning theme, and all
and
this.
Tails has Tails' voice.
He does. Yeah, he does. Which is surprising, but very gladly accepted. Like, I think.
Could have been Millie Bobby Brown. We got lucky.
If it hadn't been for that post-credits scene from the first movie where they just scrambled to pick someone, they probably wouldn't have hired her for 2. But because she was already there, that must be why
the best choice too.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like because that's not the good voice. Like, no, it's a good voice. So that's Tails. I'm just saying like considering all the other casting,
right.
Like. As we've gone forward, if Knuckles is Idris Elba, Shadow is Keanu Reeves, it almost feels like, Ben Schwartz is not as famous as now as all the other voice actors that they're pulling in.
Replace him with Florence Pugh immediately.
David, I'm not letting you off the hook. Which Sonic character does not get to come back to the Olympics?
I was gonna say, wait, is Charmy even playable in the Olympic Games, or is he just on the sidelines?
I don't know, but if that's your choice, it can be Charmy.
Yeah, get him out of there. I don't trust Charmy in international waters. That's what I'll say.
The reason I bring it up is I want to posit the flip question, which is who is a Sonic character that doesn't get enough attention or deserves to be elevated even further than they currently are. So I'll say Knuckles. Knuckles had a show, and I want season 2 of Knuckles and Wade. I want it. I want Knuckles to continue his bowling quest, and I want Knuckles spin-off games. And I just love Knuckles. I think he's a funny guy.
I think Big. I think Big the cat, maybe.
Oh,
yeah,
I can get behind
answer. That.
Yeah, man. He's one hangout. I think that's like the closest to like a little stoner dude that we get. Like,
Froggy?
I like,
yeah.
Where are
you? Hey, let's just take it easy, Sonic. Hey, that purple Urkel, pass some of that, Froggy.
Of course, I don't think
he should be in the movies. He should have been at that wedding. Just like, oh no.
Like, would he have just been a guest?
A-cab.
He's the only person invited to that wedding that isn't a member of Gun. It's like, we don't even...
He's also the only like non-human there. He's like just a big anthropomorphic cat, but nobody questions it. He's like,
Gun's not coming after him. They know he ain't doing nothing. He's just hanging out.
Right.
He's just there for the free food.
I'm just holding this for somebody.
They must have put it into my bag before I got to TSA.
All right. Well, is it legal in Hawaii? I don't know. Might be.
It is, but it's not legal to take on planes anywhere because federal stuff.
Right.
David, I'm not letting you off the hook. Who's the Sonic character that you would elevate or promote? You're not dodging.
Right. Well, I mean, right. I got to think of somebody else because I have quite the fondness for Big the Cat.
Yes.
God, okay. No. I mean, hey, you know what? Let's bring back Sally, right? Let's bring back Sally Acorn. Why not?
Did you ever watch those? I mean, we've talked about Jaleel White a couple times. Well, not really talked about him, but like we've mentioned his name a few times. But did you watch those cartoons? Because he voiced Sonic in 3 different cartoons. And
that's right.
2 of them were popular.
The Holy Trinity of Sonic.
Also, if we mention Jaleel White's name one more time, he will come through our computers.
I'd love to get him on the show.
Yeah, I know.
So.
Yeah, let's book it. I don't know how to do that. But.
Then I do that. He's more than that, but not much. Not by much. I did. I did love the Sonic. The cartoons. I read the comics more than I watched the cartoons, though.
Oh,
yeah, the Archie comics. We're fans of those too. We're fans of pretty much every interpretation of Sonic.
We love all of Sonic, and Sonic loves us. We hope.
That's true.
Right. Oh, so how
he lives in your heart?
He does, but he doesn't pay rent, and I don't know why. So how deep in the comics did you get? Like, was it just a couple years, or were you like there until the bitter end? Probably not till the bitter end, but
None to the bitter end. But I did read quite a few years of the comics. God, I should go back and do some rereads because occasionally I'll come past a panel and I'll be like, that was actually like much better than it had any right to be. And I say this as someone who like has. It's very difficult to write the comic book kind of adaptation of a cartoon that's very popular or a character in any way that's like popular and iconic. And I say that as someone who did that too. I think I did well. Who knows? That's for the reader to say. It is like really, really hard to write it in a way where it like feels both like the character and then also feels like it's not just a fun filler story, but it's like trying to say something about the character and the world. And man, those Sonic writers, like they really came in like looking to like tell stories and not just sell comics. And there's a very large difference, and when you see it you can see it, like they're genuinely good. And now someone's gonna read it and be like, Danielle, what the fuck did you just make me do? But I thought they were great, and especially when you're writing things kind of that's typically marketed for kids or for a teenage audience and still making them like good stories. I thought those were really great. I don't know, what do y'all think?
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, the Archie book had its highs and lows, but I think overall, I definitely was into it.
I must have read it when it was good. That might be why I fell off.
Yeah, like, were you reading it in high school or?
No, I wasn't reading it in high school.
Yeah, I think then you got off the train before it hit a wall, and then they had to rebuild it.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's
that'd be why.
No, but yeah, like that early. Like, because it technically what started in 92 as like just a funny animal comic, and then it sort of shifted gears into being more, I mean, still lighthearted enough, but we're trying to tell different stories, more serious stories in that framework. And it lasted until like I would say it was a high period through 97, 98. It's when they started adapting Sonic Adventure that it got a little funny. So yeah, I would say through most of the 90s the comics were great, and it got a little funny in the 2000s until they were great again. But even at the worst, I think there's some good stuff to pull from it. I think with just like any sort of creative endeavor, if it's bad, doesn't mean it's all 100% bad. Like there's something hiding in there.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes things are bad. I don't want to. Some things are bad.
Well, okay,
but there's usually something. Usually, you can find a jewel. But I just don't think it helps the children to say that nothing's bad ever.
Right. No, but yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been very good. Danielle, I feel like we kind of we skipped around in lots of parts of your Sonic Manifesto. I definitely feel like you've had at least more than one Sonic Manifesto, and you should definitely return to the show, and we'll get deeper into Dreamcast fighting games like Dead or Alive and Mortal Kombat, and there's a lot more to unpack, so we'll have to have you back again. But thank you for joining us, and really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Go watch the Dead or Alive movie.
Whoa, that's right. We are here. Look at this. We've settled. We've dusted off. We've experienced the present. We've experienced the future. Both of those things, of course, being in the past for you, the listener, especially because now you've reached the end of another episode of Sonic Weekly. Whoa, how crazy. But you know what? If this was your first episode, if this has been your 100th episode, if you've enjoyed what you've heard regardless and you haven't done so yet, that's right. This is the part of the show where I say you should subscribe to this podcast using your podcatcher of choice, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or for the Android faithful, Podcast Addict. Give us a rating, give us a review, do whatever it wants you to do in-app. We appreciate it. The magical algorithm appreciates it. But if you reject all podcatchers, and I don't blame you if you do, we are also over on YouTube. That's right, we're at Sonic-Weekly. You can like, comment, subscribe, and as always, our voices are joined by gameplay footage recorded by friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. Hey, if you want to reach out to the show, it's SonicWeeklyPodcast@gmail.com. That's an email address. You type in the email address, you type in an email, and you send that off. It can say anything you want. within reason, right? Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Ask us questions. We have a mailbag section sometimes, and it's the only way to get a link to our Discord server. Yeah. Ask for it, we'll send it over, and soon you'll be talking to some like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about many things up to and including Sonic T. Hedgehog. You can talk about the Game Awards if you want. You can talk about how Sonic didn't win anything in the Game Awards. You could talk about how there was no Sonic at the Game Awards. You could talk about how Mega Man had more of a presence at the Game Awards than Sonic, than Sega. If you count Total War, I guess not, but oh god, it's too wild, it's too crazy, I can't handle it. Hey, if you're able to help support the show financially, we're also over on Ko-fi. We're just Sonic Weekly over there. You can drop something into the tip jar, or for $5 a month, you can become one of our executive producers, EP, if you will. Just like PigDan, Pabsy, Sonikku, SavingThrows, Belgarion, Rat-Liker63, Dr. Hate PhD, Sertoo, and Butterbeerhawk. Yeah, you can have your name read at the end of the episode. You can, feel cool and hip that you're helping to offset the cost of hosting and production of this podcast. But if you're not able to, don't worry. We're just happy that you're here. And hey, tell your buddies, they're all welcome. Once again, thanking Danielle for being on the show. Also gotta thank, I'm gonna thank Smoovies for the Rings of Saturn jingle. We're gonna thank Altsynth, right? He's editing.
Yes, thank you to Altsynth for editing this. Yeah. And thank you to Altsynth for, if you've seen any of our YouTube shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Much appreciated to Altsynth for producing those. That's right.
It's a bold new venture of Sonic Weekly. We are entering the world of shorts. So give it a view. You could watch it. I don't know. That's what you do. Yeah, so thank you, Altsynth, for editing the show. Thank you for the shorts. Thank you, Bo, for reporting from Rings of Saturn. We hope that you're enjoying your time in space. And hey, thank you, Grant. Thank you, Grant, for going to the Game Awards and being on stage more than Jeff Keighley, because there's one thing
audience coordinator. I was the one telling them, the audience, to get hyped up. No, that's not true. People might believe that. That's not true.
That's not true. If there's one thing that bothers me about the Game Awards, it's that for most of the time, Jeff Keighley is standing behind the audience. You know what you should do in front of an audience? Be in front of the audience. Why are you always to the left? Like, what are the people in the audience looking at? You are not making a show for people on Twitch or YouTube. Yeah. Also, I was so baffled by how many people are sending money to like the Game Awards account on YouTube and Twitch. What is that for? Why? Yeah, like I don't understand. Like people were on the YouTube Live, it's like, oh, thanks for the 10, thanks for the 20. Like people were just sending money to send messages. And I'm like, where's this money going? And on Twitch, if you subscribe to the Game Awards channel, you had exclusive emotes. And I'm like, is this money for charity? Because if it's not for charity, you're just paying Jeff Keighley money for watching a show for free. Why are you giving him money? Did you know they were charging $1 million for a 3-minute world premiere trailer during the Game Awards? You don't need to give him $6 so you have a couple more emotes to use in an emote-only chat that nobody's paying attention to because they're too busy watching. God.
Too busy watching, waiting, and hoping for Grand Theft Auto, Half-Life 3, and Sonic Adventure 3, and they are all coming next year.
It'll be the trilogy of threes.